Hi everyone, welcome once again in the third episode of Bhautik Digitally Yours, the very first Facebook Live talk show of India. Guys, we are having today Amar Kanchwala with us. Amar is a co-founder and chief digital officer of One Digistore. He's an award-winning digital marketing professional and trainer with extensive experience in working across search analytics and social media marketing. He helps with the growth and management of the brands and so many business communities online using social media, and he closely works with startups to set up their social and digital presence at One Digistore. He was awarded as Power Digital User of India in 2016, and guys, he's also the TEDx speaker. Amar, welcome.
Okay, just a correction. I am not a TEDx speaker. We organize TEDx in Hyderabad, so that way I'm not a speaker. And I don't even think for next 15, 20 years, I'll be reaching a stage of becoming a TEDx speaker. So yeah,
let us expect that Amar can become TEDx speaker in next couple of years, and I'm sure you're good. He's only 26, so he's so young, just like me. Okay, Amar. So we are discussing a very interesting topic because we were just discussing that people, they understand the meaning of social media marketing. They understand the Facebook marketing specifically. And to be very frank with you, I don't know about the kind of situation in Hyderabad, but if you come to this part of the India, like Gujarat, people are so fascinated to use Facebook for the marketing, and they consider rather Facebook as a marketing tool, they consider a sales tool. So maybe the growth hacking via social media storytelling, it can be a little bit very newer to them. So I just want to know, to start with this talk show, that what is growth hacking via social media storytelling, and is that something which is different than the regular social media marketing?
Okay. First of all, thank you, Bhautik, for having me here. And it's quite interesting. I mean, we are quite moving fast in pace of. Earlier the talk shows used to happen. People gathering 200 people in an auditorium. You have a proper setup, and then you deliver a talk. Now the whole landscape is changing fast. And it's quite good to do a talk show digitally. It's a first for me, and it's quite an interesting experience to do this. So, quite an interesting question you asked, that what is growth hacking, and what is social media storytelling all about. So let's first understand for a couple of minutes that what is growth hacking all about, right? So to start with, so I was reading this book by this guy called Malcolm Gladwell, which goes by the name of David and Goliath. So in this book, there's this political scientist called Arrogant Taft. Now, what this guy did is he summed up all the wars which happened in past 200 years. Now, in this, so what he did, he compiled all the wars which happened in this 200 years, and then he tried to analyze them, that what's happening with this war, let's say, wherein small armies fought against big armies, right? And he noticed that in 28.5% cases, small armies won against big armies. Right. Now he was like, wow, how did this happen? So he then did a further deep dive, and he found out that in cases where these armies used guerrilla warfare methods or unconventional methods, these guys won. So so as a startup founder, as a guy so we are startup folks, right? We do fight against big armies, which are like big brands, and then this story quite resonated with me. So enough of war. Let's understand more about growth hacking with different examples. So let's say, so Houston Airport, right? I don't remember the year, but then in Houston Airport, what these guys did is they rolled out a survey that how is the whole experience, user experience at the airport. Now, they got a lot of complaint at the baggage claim area. They said a user has to wait for 9 minutes. So they did, okay, we'll resolve it. And they did a lot of restructuring. They did a lot of changes, and they were able to bring out, they spent millions of dollars, and they were able to bring out like 9 minutes to 6 minutes. And they again rolled out a survey. And again, the most number of complaints which came for the subject was that we have to wait a lot of time at the baggage claim area. So what some smart minds did is they actually brought up the time of people reaching to baggage claim area to 6 minutes. So now a user,
Right.
from the time he lands, he reaches the baggage claim area in 6 minutes, which means that baggage claim time becomes zero,
Right.
right? So this is again a form of growth hacking. So
Hmm.
now talking about brands, so one of my favorite case studies is Dropbox. So I mean,
Hmm.
they are the early adopters of growth hacking. So what these guys did at Dropbox is, so they wanted to go, obviously they, everyone knows Dropbox, right? I mean, it's a cloud
Yeah.
storage platform. So now let's say
Hmm.
at Dropbox, so they hired marketeers. They
Hmm.
wanted their users base to grow. Now in the process,
Hmm.
they were doing Google AdWords ads. Now in order to acquire a customer, they were spending close to $233 to $388.
Right.
And for an average cost of the user, which a user has to pay for the product, is $99, which means they were not doing
Right.
good. Now,
Right.
what they did in this process is they actually use the referral method. So let's say if you love
Hmm.
Dropbox, you send it with your 5 friends. If they sign up, you get zero point 0.5 GB extra. Now, this
Right.
was one of the earliest form of growth hackings. And the
Right.
problem with these growth hacking tricks are, so once they came out with it, everyone started adopting it, and then the methods don't work. So
Hmm.
now this is if you were to nail down what growth hacking is all about, this is what growth hacking is. And now the question arises that why growth hacking, right? So as an
Hmm. Hmm.
user, as a consumer, or as a normal human being, you come across 250 to 3,000 ads per day. Now that's a
Hmm.
whooping amount of ads which you come across, right?
Right.
And
Right.
in order to cut this clutter, as a marketer, you need to ensure that your content or your story cuts across these clutters and reaches directly either the mind or heart of your customer. So that's what
Right.
the importance of storytelling is all about.
Right. So, Amar, like, because we are talking about storytelling, and like even globally, that wherever, so like this kind of social media talks are going on, the world social media talks, and everybody is now started speaking about the storytelling. So, can
Right.
you tell us that how can a business leverage storytelling in their social media campaigns?
Right. Cool. So I guess so. Let's understand that why storytelling is important. And before even going into the storytelling part, I mean, what I'm going to tell is it's a very crucial fact about, and 99% of the marketers get this wrong. So when it comes to
Right.
storytelling, everyone talks about content and not
Hmm.
context. When it comes to
Right.
storytelling, what's most crucial factor is context. And
Absolutely.
why the context is crucial, we'll get into it as I go further. So what's happening today
Hmm.
is all the marketers look social media as a distribution channel, right? So but then at the end of the day, as a marketer, we don't respect the platforms. So now
Hmm.
what do I mean by that? So let's see, if I put 1,000 people on Instagram and I put 1,000 people on Facebook at the same time, they'll react differently. The way they react
Yeah.
of a content on Facebook, the way they react to the content on Twitter, they react to the content on LinkedIn is different, because they are
Yeah.
there on that platform for a different reason, right? So you
Hmm.
can't, so I mean, what happens today essentially is, as a marketer, you create one brand collateral, you create one social media post, you post it across social media channels saying this is my content. And see, what content works on Facebook, that content will not work on Twitter, that content will not work on LinkedIn, because every
Yeah.
platform is different, right?
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
platform, people are there for different reason. So
Hmm.
we need to create visual according to the platform. We need to respect the platform at the end of the day. And
Hmm.
see, the today we need to understand that the supply and demand of attention is out of control, right? I
Right.
mean, everyone is fighting for the same attention span. And
Yeah.
while everyone is doing so, we need to ensure that our story comes across very clearly. That's why we have to
Yeah.
focus on the context part of it and not the content part of it. So if you
Right.
get the context right, I am sure that your storytelling aspects comes across very well to your audience.
Like Amar, now when you have taken out a very interesting topic over here, because normally we understand the meaning of the content and we put so much focus on the content, but at the same time you are speaking that yes, context is really important.
Yes.
But let us for a while not think about the business. Let us for a while not think about the marketing. Let us just think about what kind of content is getting popular on the social media. For an example, the very recent Priya Prakash Warrior, a few months back, if you see, there was a Dinchak Puja kind of a person. So this kind of content, now specifically, this is a very much related to the content, irrespective of the context in which they became viral. So do you see any particular reason for this kind of content to become viral? Or because, as you know, every day we see hundreds and lakhs of such videos, but very few, very selected, they become viral. So what do you think that what are the elements of this kind of content which has no context, but still they become viral?
Now, so see, while we took the context out, portion out for so let's say for some reason, but then let's still understand that what made this videos viral, right? So I was reading this article which says that a guy, if I'm not sure if I'm right on the number of kilometers, but then a guy drove maybe close to 800 kilometers or 1,000 kilometers for 2 years to find her wife, on which was mentally unstable, and he was on the hunt to find her, and he was finally able to find it. And this moment also happened at the same time as this whole Priya Warrior incident happened, and she got 3.3 million followers within a span of 1 week, and all that stuff happened. So see, you don't know what actually rides on the mind of consumer at the time. So I mean, so while you can give a vague context, theory that maybe Valentine Day was around, everyone was in very lovey-dovey mode, and at the same time this also broke, and you can call it that the moment was right. But then see, one story becomes viral when the other story was as touchy, it didn't become viral. It's all about when the thing has to come out, while other thing does not come out.
Right. So Ammar, do you think that this kind of, because you must be facing this problem, because even we face here this kind of problem, that people, specifically the businesses, they meet us and they ask us that we want to make this particular event viral. So you just spend money, you can go for the paid ads on social media, Facebook specifically, but you make it viral. Now, when it comes to the virality, even after spending the money, normally your content will reach out to the people, the kind of budget you are spending on it. So how do you deal with this kind of businesses who normally speaks about that we want to make our content viral?
Okay. See, I mean, if we get into the science of virality, it's altogether different topic altogether. But how do you make a content viral? See, a content has to have an element of becoming viral at the end of the day. I mean, you can't you create content which rides on the heart and mind of a customer. I mean, a content is solely made for that reason. Now it becomes viral for a reason because if a larger chunk of audience resonates with it, if a larger chunk of audience connects with it, obviously it becomes viral. So you can't. I mean, obviously, as you put it across, right? That so let's say when we go out, and it'll be bad on my part if I don't plug in one digi store at this stage, right? I mean, we go out and we talk to a lot of clients day in day out, and then first thing which comes to us from a lot of businesses is that can you create those viral videos? See, that's the time we help them understand that okay, let's take a pause and let's understand. See, we can help you create videos. We can help you create tell stories, because we are a storyteller, right? We can help you tell your brand or your business story online. Now, and we put it across in a way that okay, your audience will surely connect with it. Now, when it does, then is a scope of that video becoming viral or that piece of content becoming viral. That's secondary. But then first and most crucial factor is that the piece of content should your audience should connect with that. So we help them understand, and that's how we tackle the challenge of, can you create those viral videos for us or not?
Okay, Amar, you initially you have said one thing that every like yes, every social media works differently. So if you are putting some content on Facebook, that content not maybe not so suitable on LinkedIn. So
Right.
let's talk for some time on Twitter, because Twitter has very mixed feeling, at least in India.
Right.
So there are two types of groups. The kind of group who comes in the category of the celebrities, they use Twitter, and there are kind of group, the people who are very common people or who run their businesses, are very common professionals. They still think but they're skeptical about Twitter. So what to do when it comes to Twitter, and if I want to use Twitter for the storytelling?
Right. So, I was reading this article. Just sometime before we started this live chat, and the article said that one of the celebrities from the Kardashians clan, they tweeted that okay, they are not using Snapchat anymore. Okay,
Yeah.
and their stock got hit by 1.8 billion.
Yes.
Snapchat stock got hit by 1.8 billion. So, if you were to understand why this happened, it's because the power of Twitter as a platform, or power of the medium called influencer marketing. So let's understand that what is influencer marketing for a moment, and then let's get into this whole Twitter conversation again. So influencer marketing is nothing but influencers in their respective domains talking about, their talking on behalf of your brand to their audience. So they share that,
Yeah.
okay, you know what, I rode Ferrari today and I feel that it's an awesome car and you should also give a ride to. And then their audience say, okay, since this guy is talking about it, let me go and drive it too. So that's called influencer marketing. And Twitter is one of the key platform for influencer marketing to happen because of various elements of it, because hashtag, and they become trending, and then brands want to hop on this trending hashtag notes and all that stuff. So why brands should be using Twitter is obviously the usage of the platform has gone down, and then initially when a brand has to face the challenge of telling their story in 140 character, now they have overcome it, and now you can do the same storytelling in 280 characters, right? So that's where the scope for a brand to tell its story has increased. Now see, it's all about getting the platform's basic right. So now if it comes to Twitter, I feel that, see, if you give value to your audience, be it any platform, it works for you, be it as a brand or as an individual. I am most active today on Twitter. Be it any platform, I'm active on all of them, but then I am most active on Twitter as a platform. And how it has helped me as an individual, let me help you understand. I got my first job because of Twitter. Okay, I got married in November last year, and I met my wife on Twitter 5 years back, right? So if you are questioning me as an individual, that how effective Twitter as a platform is, I can debate it on for hours, and I can at the end convince you that it is the most important tool, be it personally, be it professionally.
I am convinced already.
Yeah. So
okay, guys. Amar, sorry to interrupt you, but I have to tell it to the people over here, because Amar is from Hyderabad and her wife is from my city, that is Surat. So we just shared that, and you know what? It indicates that the people of this part of the world also, they are very active on Twitter, and so this is, thank you, Amar, for sharing this, because it will break the kind of mentality of the people that no, Twitter is not for us. So like, guys, this is for you to understand that even people of this part of the world, they use Twitter. So Amar, along with the Twitter, I actually wanted to stop you in between, because I immediately Instagram came in my mind. Because now the number of people who are using Instagram, they are increasing day and night. So like, again, the same, you have said it very right, that the storytelling depends on the kind of platform. But when it
Right.
comes to Instagram, you have two types of content. One is the
Right.
normal routine post, and another is the story itself. So, do you see any difference if I want to use some storytelling activity through normal post, and if I'm using the upper story portion which stays for 24 hours? So, can I use different tactics for both those things?
Obviously, I mean, it's a very brilliant tool for a marketer to use that. Or I mean, even if you were to build your own personal brand, I guess
Yeah.
Instagram storytelling tool becomes a very key platform for you to do that. I mean, see, obviously Instagram copied that concept from Snapchat. That's a different
Yeah.
debate altogether. And
Hmm.
while it was a feature which was working
Hmm.
absolutely crazily well amongst the youth of US, and then that's how they copied, and then they
Hmm.
made it because there was already a lot of audience on Instagram, and that's how a lot of people started using that as a feature. Now, how
Hmm.
well you can tell a story is a different factor altogether. See, I mean, for audience to understand what Instagram stories let you do is you can put n number of pictures in your picture story section, and it remains there for 24 hours. Now,
Yeah.
instead of me putting just one visual of, let's say, I design one collateral, be it a GIF, be it a video, be it a normal post, and I just put it there on my Instagram feed for people to see it, versus I put six different visuals. So I
Right.
say I was there today doing this, and then I did this, and then I went on doing this, and then I did this, and at the end I did this. So I tell a story here, right? That's way
Yeah.
I my audience feel like, because see, if I mean, let's go back to our earlier days, right? I mean,
Hmm.
we are all used to our grandmas and grandparents telling a story, and if
Hmm.
those things worked for at that time, because we are very old age, we are used to consume a lot of stories in different format, be it digital,
Hmm.
be it movies, be it anything. So if anyone tells a story in any format, be it a brand, be it an individual, you obviously connect with it, and
Yeah.
that's where it's a good opportunity for brands to harp on that fact, and get their storytelling aspect right.
Absolutely, absolutely. Amar, let us continue with our main topic, that is growth hacking.
Sure,
So,
sure.
according to you, what is the future of growth hacking in India? Because still, that India is still understanding the overall meaning of digital marketing. They are still confused how to use social media for the business. So, how do you see the future of growth hacking in India?
Right. So, see, in terms of if I were to talk in numbers, so this firm called HR firm called Kelly, right?
Hmm.
I was reading this report by them, and they had mentioned that there have been increase in demand in 25% by the market for growth hackers, right?
Right.
In past 1 years. And see, when it comes to growth hackers, while you are at entry stage in your careers, I don't think you qualified to be called as a growth hacker, because it at least takes you 4 to 5 years to understand all the platform, right? You
Yeah.
need to be proficient in terms of usage of all the platforms, and how LinkedIn work versus how Twitter works, and then growth hacking goes beyond platform. Then
Right.
let's say we discuss the example of Dropbox, right? Then you need to
Hmm.
understand how can I tie my product into an online campaign which I'm doing. So let's say we
Hmm.
talk about referrals, right? And that referrals obviously have to be done on that platform, which is, let's say,
Hmm.
Dropbox is a platform which we spoke of. So
Hmm.
that way you need to have understanding of both product, technical knowledge a bit, and obviously social media platforms, and which you don't expect from a fresher to have. That's where
Yeah.
if you have 4 to 5 years of experience, obviously you are you qualified to be called as growth hacker. And
Yeah.
why in terms of demand, see, today, I mean, I face this question a lot. So let's say you go and talk in a business school, you go and talk to an audience which are, yeah, still in the process of getting graduated, or if they're still in the process of learning digital marketing, and they ask this question, that what is the scope of digital marketing, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I have a very simple answer to that. So today, see, we sit on a different side of table, right? Wherein, let's say we are running an agency, we need a lot of good talent, and today there is a scarcity of good talent. There
Yeah,
is not
absolutely.
scarcity of people knowing digital marketing, but there is scarcity of people knowing digital marketing well. Now, how do you
Absolutely.
overcome that challenge? Is you obviously see, you don't expect people to become digital marketeers by just taking digital marketing trainings. I mean, with digital marketing training, there has to be while at the same time they're taking digital marketing training, they have to undergo a lot of on the job, like live projects, live case
Yeah.
studies, which they do. And
Yes.
I'm sure you are into training domain. You
Yes.
yourself do it for your students. So that
Yeah.
has to happen for them in order for them to learn digital marketing and then become growth hackers of tomorrow. And yeah, so in terms of scope, there is still a lot of scope. But then for you to capture that scope, you need to be an absolute genius so that you
Yeah.
tap into that growth hacking space.
So what Ammar is saying that there is a huge scope in the field of growth hacking, but you have to spend some time. And yes, absolutely, he's right that maybe you have to become expert of at least few social media platforms. Then only you'll understand the features of those social media, how you can use it, how you can leverage it. So that is for you, the youngsters, the guys who are listening to us. Guys, if you have any questions, kindly you can put down in the comment section. Amar, I'm having some question, but it is not relevant. But let me put in the other perspective. It is
Okay.
related to the settings part of the Twitter, but I can understand what Deepan wants to ask you,
Okay.
and I'm putting in a very different perspective. Again, coming for a few seconds on Twitter.
Sure.
When we are using Twitter, the main
Mhm.
problem with the Twitter is the kind of number of tweets you every now and then you see on your wall.
Right.
In this case, when you are putting the content
Mhm.
as a storytelling, and
Mhm.
your audience is your content is lost in front of the eyes of your audience because of so many unwanted tweets
Mhm.
normally comes, specifically the
Mhm.
news channels. If you follow any news channel, you tend to see the tweet every now and then. So in that case, even if I am putting some good content as a storytelling, it will lost somewhere. So what to do in this case? Like, how can I use Twitter if I really want to tackle this kind of situation?
Okay, so I guess I see there are two parts of this question. One is as a brand, or one is as a user. So let me
Yeah.
understand this answer. Explain this in two folds. So if you are, I mean, if I'm getting this question right, and if you are facing challenge in terms of consuming the content, then I mean
Yeah.
there is simple solution for you, right? So what you can do is in Twitter today you can go and shut or switch on the kind of categories you of content you want to consume. So let's say if you don't want
Hmm.
to consume political content, you can
Hmm.
turn off that category and you can do that. Second,
Yeah.
if let's say if you want to see any, so let's say there's this tool called TweetDeck.
Hmm.
So what you can do in this tool is, let's say if you open this tool on your tab on your desktop, you see
Hmm.
various option to create various tabs. So let's say if
Yeah.
you only want to see results of hashtag social media, or hashtag
Yeah.
Ahmedabad, or hashtag Surat,
Yeah.
or be it any
Yeah.
hashtag you want to follow, only
Yeah.
tweets with those hashtag will be shown in that section. So that way you
Right.
don't have to your attention does not get diverted between various different content which is coming up your feed. Now
Yeah.
at the same time, the second part of your question, which is in terms of how do I tackle a challenge wherein everyone is posting so much of content, and let's say if I as a brand also, or if I as a business also post that same content at the
Hmm.
same time, I mean,
Yeah.
isn't there a chance of my getting content getting lost, right?
Yeah.
So what you need to do in this case is see. I mean, it has to be a twofold effort here. First,
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
content. Let's say when you push out that content, you need to understand that what kind of content your audience likes to consume, right?
Right.
At the same
Yeah.
time, you can use tools like Hootsuite, you can use tools like BuzzSumo, you can use tools like MeetHR, and these all tools let you create content which your audience likes to watch. That way,
Yeah.
and they gives you relevant hashtags so that you can use in your content, so that it stays on your so that if there are specific people searching for a specific hashtag, their your content is visible to them. So you need to be both smart in terms of using those tools, and also you need to be a good storyteller in order to put your content across right to your audience.
Right. Amar, any quick, recollection of some good growth hacking campaign you have come across recently, like it fascinated you, or you like that entire concept so much, maybe from your side or maybe from any other marketer or any brand? Can you recollect some this kind of campaign?
Yeah. So I mean one of my not recent, but then I'll tell you one of my favorites growth hacking campaign.
Okay.
So so I'm sure people have heard of Airbnb, right? So in Airbnb, what happens is Airbnb. So let's say when they were growing up, what they did a few years back is their story is very unique, and their story is very good in terms of, let's say, if you want to take as a case study of growth hacking. So while growth, they were stage of getting more audience to their platform, they were still facing challenge in order to scale. And at the same time, there's this tool platform called Craigslist. Now, what Craigslist lets you do is also let you do the same thing, but then it has millions of users using it. Now, what Airbnb did is so they were telling that, okay, if you want to post your ad, if you want to post your apartments rental ad on Airbnb in 4 simple steps, you can put your ad on Craigslist as well, so that the audience of Craigslist can also see that ad. Now, what you're smartly doing it, and let's say when your user puts that ad on Craigslist after he's put on Airbnb, and if a user who's browsing Craigslist clicks on that ad, the user gets redirected to Airbnb. And they again took it one step forward. What they did is they scrapped through all of Craigslist. And what Craigslist at the time that people do is that it lets people to send email to the user who has posted the ad. So what Airbnb did is, so they dig out all these email IDs. So let's say if you have posted an ad of your apartment, and so a fake profile from Airbnb, let's say any name of the lady or any name of the guy, he used to send an email to that person saying that, you know what, I liked your ad on Airbnb, Craigslist. Why don't you put that on Airbnb as well? And they did this activity for 1.5 years. And once they did it, it took an year and a half for Craigslist to realize that this is happening. And then what happened after then, it's history. And today we all know where Airbnb is all about, right? So, I mean, to me, this is a very good example of growth hacking. And I mean, while it does not involve, it does not just involve social media, but it also involves email marketing in a way. It also involves you understanding product in a way. So this is what a job of a good growth hacker is. He needs to understand both platform as well as the right, digital marketing platform, which will help you let your growth happen.
True. Amar, before we move on to our last question of the day, we have a question from Krunal Patel. Although this is not relevant with our topic, but it is very interesting, and for a while we can go off the track of the topic. But why it is very important? Because it is the new entrant in the Indian market, and still people are not so aware. And yes, everybody has some questions in their mind. It is related to your opinion about marketplace option, which is there in Facebook. So, do you think that it's a failure, or it will pick up later on?
See, if we were to call anything as a failure, or if you were to call anything as a success, I as an individual, we as an organization also have this one simple, discipline which we take is as we go with data, right? So let's say if there is a data which proves that there's something, if data proves that it's a failure, or data proves that the trend is not going up, it's a failure. If the data shows that it's okay picking up, it's a success, right? So and data is very important in everything, right? We avoid today getting into so much discussions just because we see that there is a data supporting such factor, and there is no point discussing on this anymore because the data supports it. So, but coming back to this point of why marketplace is picking up or not, see, you need to understand. Okay, let me put this across this way. How many time do you open Facebook, or how many time do you open Instagram, or how many time do you open Twitter, expecting a fact that okay, let a brand show their ad to me, or let a brand come on my feed and show their ad or sell their product.
And the answer
is
right?
zero. The answer is zero, because you are not there on a platform to do buying and selling. See, I come today on Instagram to put pictures of my food, and when I scroll through my feed, I expect a lot of other food pictures to be seen in my food. Or if I'm a traveler, I want a lot of travel pics to be there in my food. So we need to respect that fact, right? That there is a, so that's where the context part comes into picture. We need to understand that why the user is on that platform. And if I were to go on Facebook for shopping, I would really want that marketplace feature to explore. But then I'm not there on the platform to do buying and selling. I'm there to connect with my friends and family. And that's what that platform was built for. And that's what you have to, as a brand, you should be focusing on.
Absolutely. I think we need to give some time for this marketplace on Facebook, because it is a very new concept, and I think people will understand it, adopt it. It might come again with some little bit changes so that more and more people can use it. Amar, moving on to the last question of the day, like any best practice, or if you have some quick tips or any tool you want to suggest for this growth hacking on social media.
See, in terms of tool, I mean, I named a few tools. Let's say if you were to use Hootsuite, you can use BuzzSumo. There's this tool which I named MeetHR. You can use these tools. And see, if I were to tell you any best practices, see, there is no magic bullet today, right? There is no, there is no secret formula which can help you put across your content story, right? Or there is no magic formula to do social media marketing, or rather to do viral marketing today, right? Obviously, I'm a marketer, and I'll plug my product and services wherever I feel I can do. So obviously, see, if you engage, so let's say if you are to do, see, we as an agency, we don't always suggest that you do marketing, you hire an agency. You can very well do it in-house. You at the same time you can hire an agency, but then you at least need to hire a strategist or an agency who does strategy for you and who gives you right direction, that where to approach, right? So even if you have that in mind, and if someone is giving you that right direction, obviously you can approach in that way. So at the same time, so we as One Digi Store do this, offer the service that even let's say if you come to us as a brand, we don't always tell you to take a services. What we say is, okay, let us audit your business. Let your audit the services you offer. Let's first see that, okay, do you even need social media today? Do you even need digital marketing today for your services, or it's too early for you to adopt this? And even let's say, and one is this, so we take this checkpoint very seriously. And after that, what we do is, let's say we tell that, okay, even if you were to go on social media, or even if you were to do digital marketing, these are the XYZ things you should do. And then these are the things you should do. Now, whether you come to us, or whether you go to any different agency, or whether you go do this in-house, but these are the mandatory things you need to do. So I guess, that's one advice I would like to give to people. And then in terms of storytelling in specific, see, you need to understand that, we are ultimately, while we do a lot of posting on social media, while we do a lot of posting on LinkedIn, Facebook, but then at the end of the day, we are interacting with human beings, right? Absolutely. And see, you need to understand this principle, that see, when you go out with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or your wife to a hotel, versus when you go out with them to watch a movie, you talk to them in a different way. You tell your story in a different way. And the same concept you need to apply to the different platforms as well. And if you are able to get it right, I'm sure you have cracked the right formula of getting your next video viral.
Okay. So Ammar was speaking about the tools and everything. So yes, I would add on this to this point, Ammar, that I'm sharing this link in the comment, guys. That recently, I think it was yesterday only, or maybe
Okay.
it was 2 days back. Twitter has said that automation and the use of multiple accounts is not going to be there on Twitter. So you can go through this blog of Twitter developer because they think that they want to keep the Twitter safe. So that is the reason that even we do not, until unless the tool is so genuine, or maybe the tool is giving you any kind of support in terms of multiple posting or something like that, scheduling. We not, or maybe it is giving you some insights, analytics. We normally don't encourage even our clients, just like Amar said, to use any of the tools. So see, this is the recent blog I'm sharing with you guys, so you can go through that. Amar, I think it was a wonderful talk, and see, like we have passed 40 minutes, and like we were still discussing the things. Amar, thank you so much for joining with us, and believe me, the people are going to watch it later on also. I know that, even though they are live, but maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow on the YouTube. Right now it is going on the live on my Instagram also. They are going to watch it, and they can come up with a new question. So guys, you can please send the friend request to Amar if you want, or maybe you can like his company's page, that is One Digit Store. He's there on Twitter. As he said, he's so active. He found his wife also there, so you can go and follow him on Twitter. You can connect with Amar on LinkedIn. So Amar is everywhere. And if you are from Hyderabad, I suggest you to please go and meet him personally. And yes, Amar is coming to Surat, and I'm going to meet Amar in March. So I'll try Amar if you are here in Surat for at least some time. So I will try to meet up with some few people in Surat so that we can have some good interaction over here as well.
Sure. And I'll also plug in my, see, I'm a marketer. I'm a very evil marketer, right? So I find opportunities to plug in whatever I have at the right time in the right moment. So I am see, since you spoke of Hyderabad, and if you're visiting Hyderabad, or if you're from Hyderabad, so I am also a food blogger, right? I manage my own food blogging channel on Instagram, which goes by the name of the Wanderer Foodies. And if you were to see, I mean, if as a marketer also, if you want to check their example of how do you, let's say, if you are having any personal initiatives like that, if you're having any personal profiles like that, or any personal niche which you're expert about, and if you want to grow your channel, you can just go and study this Instagram page of mine, which goes by the name of the Wanderer Foodies. So me and my wife, we both are foodies, and we both put a lot of food pictures there, and we do a lot of storytelling by the use of Instagram stories there. And I mean, we use that platforms quite really well, and dig out all possible juice out of it at the end of the day. So you can check out that as well.
Absolutely wonderful, so wonderful, guys. So please go and follow his his account on Instagram as well. So if you could not get it, you can ask him by sending the message on the Facebook or LinkedIn. So he will give you the link also. Amar, thank you so much, and thanks once again for joining with us. So nice of you to throw some light on this very interesting topic, that was growth hacking via social media storytelling. And I must say that once people are going to go through this video again and again, they'll have some questions, and maybe interesting question I'll pass to you also.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Amar. And yes, guys, and even Amar, to you also. We are having, I think, 4 more talks. Our next talk is there on 27th February. And Pranav Thakkar is going to join with us. He's from Ahmedabad, and he's going to speak on mobile app optimization. So some interesting talks are waiting for all of you. And I wish, Amar, if you can join to us even in rest of the talk show as well.
Perfect. I'll do that for sure.
Wonderful.
Learning should never stop.
Absolutely. And there are good people who are joining in the rest of the talk shows. Thank you guys for joining us. We are going to meet once again on 27th. Thank you once again, Amar, and enjoy your weekend, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.